Y'all been watching that show on Netflix, Monsters, the Erik and Lyle Menendez story? Let's talk about it. Shannan E. Johnson here, CEO of The Professional Pen, where we develop screenwriters from idea to pitch. Need help in your screenplay? Go to www.theprofessionalpen.com. Let's start with this. Monsters is an anthology series. So we have seen other versions, the Jeffrey Dahmer story. We're seeing this story. There will be other stories. So in this case, anthology means same group of people get together to make a show about bad guys, but also to get more of the story. None of the rest of the worlds are similar. None of the rest of the characters are similar. Whereas in other anthology series, it may be that it's the same actors, new worlds, or it's a show where every single episode there could be new actors in a different world, but thematically all of those episodes are tied. So anthology series can be a little bit of anything. This particular series is about biographies of some of the biggest crime stories in our history. What I want you to notice when you watch this series is that the writers take creative license. And that always seems really hard for new writers to do. Even new writers who aren't necessarily writing full-on biographies, but they may be telling a story that has happened in their lives, and they get really stuck on, well, this is the way that it happened. They get really stuck on giving you the details of the thing that actually took place instead of thinking about the entertainment value of the story. Because reality is not always as entertaining as it was to you in the moment when you lived it. We'll hold your hand when we tell you that your life is not as interesting as you think on screen. One of the ways that they do that in this TV show is we get to see the points of view from the parents when they are alone, whether they are alone together or they are having separate scenes by themselves. How do we know this is creative license? Because the parents are no longer with us and they haven't been with us for quite some time. So how would anybody know the conversations that those parents were having alone together or alone separately? Now, obviously, there have been books, there have been documentaries, there have been all kinds of things that can give you a little bit of information about how these people might have actually been, what kind of interactions they might have had with each other. You can possibly read transcripts from things to go, okay, it seems like he was this kind of guy, was going through this kind of thing, she was this kind of woman, going through that kind of thing, and now I'm gonna take the creative license to write the scene so that I can fill in the holes. Now, they could have decided we're not going to show you the parents' point of view at all. But by showing us the parents' point of view, you make this story more complicated. It makes it more gray, less black and white. We get to hear the point of view of the children, who are adults at this time, tell us what their upbringing was like. So you get to empathize with them even though they're bad guys. But then you also get to see the sacrifices, the things that the parents might have given up, how they fought for each other's love in the beginning before things kind of spiraled out of control, and what their own fears were and how they may have felt about their children, seeing their children through their eyes, just like we got to see the parents through the children's eyes. So they took the creative license to research enough about the world and the people to put them in situations that maybe they were never in, so that we can learn a little bit more. And giving you the freedom to do the same thing when you're writing. Use your creativity. Pull something out of somewhere else that feels like it could have been real and it could have happened if it's going to help to push your story forward. That is the only reason you should be using creative license, to push the story forward. What does pushing the story forward mean? To get your characters closer to or farther from reaching their goals. That's it. That's the only reason we're here. No other reason. So in this particular case, we are the jury. This is real life. So these men are in jail for this crime. So this is just saying, hey, public opinion, what are your thoughts now that you've gotten more information? But the goals of our protagonists, who are the bad guys? People often ask if protagonists can be bad guys. They can. Protagonist just means it's from their point of view, and they're the ones with the goals, and they're the ones we're empathizing with. We're empathizing with the killers. So, have you seen it? What are your thoughts on it? And will you release the burden, release the chains from your creativity so that you can write something entertaining and impactful? We shall see. Happy writing.
The Professional Pen. The professional